Dear me, you are here. I want to begin with that, and I want to stay there for a moment longer than feels necessary. You are here, breathing, awake, present in a body that has carried you through more than it ever should have had to. You didn't arrive at this day effortlessly. You arrived because you kept going, even when going felt like too much, even when stopping felt tempting, even when hope felt distant or undeserved. You are here because something in you chose to stay. Let that matter today. This day does not ask you to be reborn. It does not demand reinvention or declarations or resolutions written in confident ink. It does not require you to feel ready, motivated, or inspired. It only asks that you arrive honestly. And honesty today might look like tiredness, or caution, or quiet hope, or nothing at all. Whatever you bring is enough. There is so much noise around beginnings, so many voices insisting that a new year must feel like momentum, like clarity, like a clean slate. But you are not a slate, and you never were. You are a collection of memories, experiences, disappointments, small victories, lessons you didn't ask for, and strengths you didn't realize you were building. None of that disappears just because the calendar changes, and none of it needs to. You are allowed to carry your past with you gently. You might feel pressure today, subtle or loud, to summarize yourself, to assess your life, to decide who you will become. You might feel the weight of expectation, even if no one has placed it directly on you. That pressure can feel like a tightness in your chest, a restlessness in your thoughts, a quiet voice asking, "Am I where I should be?" If that voice shows up today, don't fight it. Just listen without letting it take control. That question does not need an answer right now. This year will offer many moments to reflect, to decide, to change direction if needed. Today can simply be about grounding yourself where you are. Right here is okay. You don't need to rush into improvement. You don't need to transform pain into productivity. You don't need to turn survival into a success story. Sometimes survival is just survival, and that is already more than enough. Think about how much you've endured quietly, the moments you didn't share, the fears you carried alone, the adjustments you made without applause, the times you stayed even when leaving would have been easier. You didn't do those things because you were fearless. You did them because something in you believed, maybe unconsciously, that you were worth continuing for. That belief brought you here. Today is not about proving that belief right. It's about honoring it. You may notice a strange emotional mix today. Relief that you made it, sadness for what you lost, anxiety about what's coming, and hope that feels tentative, like it doesn't want to draw too much attention to itself. Let all of that exist together. You don't have to sort it. You don't have to name it perfectly. You don't have to choose one feeling over another. Human hearts are not tidy. Yours doesn't need to be. If today feels quiet, let it be quiet. If it feels heavy, let it be heavy without judgment. If it feels surprisingly light, don't question it or brace for loss. You are allowed to experience good moments without immediately preparing for them to disappear. Joy does not need to be defended. You have spent a long time bracing for disappointment, for loss, for the next thing that might go wrong. That makes sense. Experience taught you to be careful. But today, just for today, you can loosen that brace a little, not remove it entirely, just soften it. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath deepen. Let yourself exist without scanning for threats. Safety does not have to be permanent to be real. This year does not belong to urgency. It does not belong to punishment or self-correction or relentless striving. It belongs to listening, to noticing when something feels wrong and choosing not to push through it automatically, to noticing when something feels right and allowing yourself to stay with it instead of doubting it. You are allowed to trust yourself more slowly than others might expect. You've often felt like you were behind people your age, behind versions of yourself you imagined you'd be by now, behind timelines you never consciously agreed to, but still feel bound by. That feeling can be exhausting. It can make every step feel inadequate, every pause feel like failure. But here is something important. There is no universal schedule for becoming. There is no deadline for understanding your life. There is no expiration date on change. You are not late. You are not missing something everyone else has figured out. You are simply living a life that is unfolding in its own time. Your pace is not a problem. Today, you don't need to measure progress. You don't need to reflect on productivity or growth. You don't need to evaluate whether you're doing enough. You can let today be neutral. Neutral days are not wasted days. They are necessary spaces where your nervous system recalibrates, where your mind rests, where your heart catches up. Stillness is not stagnation. If you feel tempted to make promises today, to yourself or to the future, be gentle with that impulse. Promises can be heavy when they're made from pressure instead of care. You don't need to promise anything today. You don't need to swear that this year will be different. You don't need to outline a better version of yourself. If you want to hold an intention, let it be small and kind. Something like, I will try to listen to myself more. Or, I will be gentler when I struggle. Or simply, I will keep going. That is enough. You have learned over time how to minimize your needs, how to stay quiet, how to adapt, how to survive without asking for too much. Those skills kept you safe when you needed them. But this year might ask you to learn something new. How to notice when you need rest, when you need boundaries, when you need softness, and to honor those needs without guilt. You are allowed to take up space in your own life. There will be days this year when old fears return. Days when doubt speaks louder than hope. Days when progress feels invisible. Days when you question whether any of this effort is worth it. Those days do not mean you are failing the year. They mean you are human. Healing does not erase difficulty. It teaches you how to sit with it more kindly. Today, you don't need to be healed. You don't need to be whole. You don't need to be confident. You just need to be honest with yourself about where you are. That honesty is the foundation everything else will rest on. Let yourself be real today. Notice the small things, the way light enters the room, the texture of fabric, the sound of your own breathing, the comfort or discomfort of being alone with your thoughts. These moments matter. They anchor you. They remind you that life is happening now, not just in the plans you haven't made yet. Presence is a gift you give yourself. You may feel a quiet grief today for the version of yourself you thought you would be by now, for the life you imagined more clearly than the one you're living. That grief is not wrong. It doesn't mean you regret your choices. It means you are aware of your hopes. Let that grief exist without turning it into self-blame. Dreams don't disappear just because they change shape. This year will ask things of you. It will bring challenges you can't yet see. It will also bring moments of relief, connection, clarity, and quiet joy that you cannot predict. You don't have to prepare for all of it today. You don't have to brace for everything at once. You are allowed to take this year one day at a time. Today can simply be about setting down some of the weight you've been carrying unnecessarily. The pressure to be impressive, the fear of being behind, the habit of criticizing yourself before anyone else can. You don't have to drop it all permanently. Just rest it beside you for a while. You've earned that rest. If at any point today you feel overwhelmed, return to something simple. Your breath, a familiar object, a quiet activity, something that reminds you that you are safe in this moment. You don't need to solve your life to deserve calm. Calm is not a reward, it's a need. I want you to remember this as the day goes on. You do not have to justify your existence. You do not have to earn your place in the future. You do not have to prove your worth through productivity, resilience, or growth. You are already allowed to be here, exactly as you are. You are not a problem to fix. This year does not need you to be perfect. It does not need you to be fearless. It does not need you to be endlessly positive. It only needs you to stay curious, to stay honest, to stay kind to yourself when things feel hard. And there will be moments this year when staying feels like an act of courage, when continuing quietly matters more than any visible achievement, when choosing not to give up is the most powerful thing you do all day. Those moments will count, even if no one sees them. Let today be gentle. Let it unfold without expectation. Let it be a soft beginning, not a dramatic one. Quiet beginnings have depth. They build roots. They leave room for adjustment, for honesty, for growth that doesn't burn you out. You don't need fireworks today. You need steadiness. As this day comes to a close, I hope you can look back and say, not, I did enough, but I was kind enough. Kind to your body, kind to your mind, kind to your pace, kind to your limits. That kind of kindness will carry you farther than force ever could. You are here. You are allowed to be here. And that is more than enough for today. With patience, with gentleness, with hope that does not demand certainty, I'll be here again tomorrow. Me.